Yo, what's up? My name is Albert and welcome to another video. So this video is about my finals on microprocessor lecture. I'm John Albert Diabangos again from 3-2 and welcome wait lang. Welcome to this video. So on this I've already watched all the 4 videos. Then I'm gonna explain how CPU works, evolution of CPU part 1 to part 4, overview of GPU, sub-operations, and sub-programming. So, first of all, how does a CPU work? So, on this, I've searched this image for you to have a quick glance on this. So, yung ating CPU ay mayroong control unit, register, and combinational logic. So, ayan yung main parts. Bakit may main memory dito? Yung main memory yung storer natin, yun yung RAM, tas yung ROM. Nakakonect siya sa ating CPU. Pero dito, as you can see, if you input, then pupunta siya sa logic or sa thinking nating CPU. By the way, yung thinking nating CPU is implementation ng bits or pagbasa ng number from 0110, mga ganon. Then, sa kanya, sinaset as i-register niya muna yan. Tapos, pagkatapos ng register, pupunta sa combinational logic. Pagkatapos ng combinational logic, main memory, babalik sa combinational logic, and then, magsiset yung memory ng instruction sa ating control unit. Then, ayun na, yung buong process ng transcription and translation ng ating bits ay ginagawa ng CPU natin. So, lahat ng red is on how it is outputted. Then, bago ilabas ng ating CPU is dadaan ulit sa combinational logic. Then, pagsasamahan niya, then yung output natin is, dinederive niya yung data na given doon. So, ayun, ganun gumagana yung CPU. Then, yung parts, yung control unit pala, siya yung nagdidirect ng operations and ng logic, nagdidecode ng instructions. Then, yung arithmetic logic natin, or ALU, handles the math and logical operations. Yung register natin ay yung temporary storage for data. Then, yung cache stores frequently used instructions for quick execution. So, meron nabanggit sa unang video na fetch, decode, execute cycle. So, ano nga ba yun? So, wait, let me base on my notes. Let me open my notes first. So, here we have the instruction. So, first of all is a fetch. A fetch is a pace in the CPU loads instructions it will be executing to itself. A CPU can be thought of it as existing information bubble. It pulls instruction and data from outside itself, perform operations within its own internal environment, and returns data back. This data typically stores memory in the external CPU called random access memory. So, yung fetch is by the word fetch. Kinukuha niya yung instruction, then ine-execute niya. So, ayun yung ginagawa ng fetch. So, meron pang bus. Yung bus naman is a mechanism which the data moves back and forth to a RAM. And then, a bus can be thought of a multi-lane highway between CPU and RAM in which the data has its own lane but also needs to transmit the locations of the data we're requesting. So, a second highway must be added to accommodate both size of the data, word, and address word. These are called data bus. And then, the address bus respectively. In practice, these data address lines are physical electrical connections between CPU and RAM and look exactly like a superhighway on a circuit board. So, yung bus naman is like daanan ng data para mabilis yung processing natin ng CPU sa RAM. Meron, kaya ginawa yung bus. Yan yung guhit-guhit na pinakita ko sa inyo. So, next is register. So, sa register naman is the address of the memory to fetch is stored in the CPU in a mechanism called the register. So, dyan nag-i-store. And then, a register is a high-speed internal memory word that uses a notepad by CPU operations. It's typically used as a temporary data store for instructions, but can also be assigned to a vital CPU functions, such as keeping track of the current address being accessed by the RAM, because they are designed initially into the CPU's hardware. Most only have a handful register. The word size is generally coupled to a CPU native architecture. So, yung register natin is a mechanism na nag-i-store sa ating CPU. Pero ano lang siya, hindi siya permanent. Ang permanent natin is by the ating storage device. So, meron tayong RAM, meron tayong ROM, meron tayong register. Sa register natin is nag-store siya ng mga tawag dito, ng instructions ng CPU natin. Then, para mabilis tawagin ng CPU or ng logic nating system. So, pagkatapos makuha yung input, ma-process ng CPU yung data, syempre may decoding tayo. So, sa decoding pala, hindi. So, umpisa pala, for example, nag-type ka ng A sa ating keyboard, may interpret mo ng computer natin yun as bunch of 1 and 0. So, doon pa lang may decoding na tayo. So, a decoding is a instruction fetched in the decoding phase with a RISC structure. One word memory forms a complete instructions. This changes to a more elaborate method as a CPU complex instruction sets architecture, which will be introduced sa sumunod na video. So, yung napakinggan ko sa sumunod na video sa decoding natin is that the CPU mainly handles the decoding part of the system by bunch of ones and zeros, then implementing it as transcribing it to another form capable on human beings or even computer beings to language rather to be understood by computer or even to a human. So, hindi lang lahat ng input ng ating computer di lang lahat ng dinedecode ng ating computer. For example, yung mga software natin, they are executing codes na hard-coded, like for example, machine code. There are bunch of instructions and datas that can be interpreted by the computer but not human. So, may mga ganong instructions or data processing din sa ating computer. So, tandaan nyo yun kasi most likely na mga tao is alam lang is pag nag-type ka, nag-decode, yun lang yun. So, hindi. Meron pa tayong mga process ng software and other sets of instructions na hindi natin mababasa or yung computer na nakakabasa or nababasa ng ibang tao pero not ng mga techie na tao pero on a normal human hindi natin mababasa. So next is we have branching. So yung branching naman occurs when an instructions causes a change in the program's counter address. This causes the next fetch or the occur of new location on the memory as opposed to the next sequential address. So, ano nga ba yung branching? Wait lang, pakita ko sa inyo. Merong image. Ano bang magandang wait, this one is PC offset instructions. So ito. Kaya ito. So dito sa ating sa ating CS55 syllabus, so meron tayong branch label, instruction X, instruction Y, instruction Z. So ang ating bus ay ito, D, B, and A. Then naka-connect siya sa register. Register natin is naka-connect sa B, R, I, sa D. Tapos, pumupunta siya sa instruction X. So, anong ginagawa ng branch? So, yung ginagawa ng branch natin is nag-handle siya ng data. Tingnan mo, dito nag-store yung memory. So, bakit hindi mag-process sa ating instruction X or sa ating instruction Y? Kasi, if you're given an instructions, parang, you think of it as, incrementing. So, meron ng data na given sa instruction X. Meron namang data na given sa instruction Y. So, para magkaroon ka ng tawag dito ng process, kailangan may pag-i-storean ka ng data. Meaning, you cannot process on your given objects if you don't have a register. Katulad lang yan sa mga coding problems. For example, if you want to have the value of this thing on that, if you have to get the value of x plus y without giving a register, then changing it to minus, then you have to make an declare a variable na pwede niyang paglagyan ng value. So, ayun yung ginagawa ng branching ng ating CPU. So, katulad nito, for example, may given ka na instruction. So, instruction A, B, and C. So, yan, tatlong instruction is given na yan. So, pag pinag-combine mo yung B at C, nagkakaroon tayo ng panibagong branch. So, ayun yung branching. So, next is, it's already 11 minutes. Operand is the operators. Execution is the phrase configured in the CPU's trigger that may occur single step or a single steps depending on the opcode. Then yung clock ay may looping ng ating if you think of it as a code, it is our looping. And then on to the next one. That's how the CPU works. So the evolution of the CPU. So, sa ating evolution of the CPU started when the 1970s were the first commercial microprocessor with 2,300 transistors. And then on the 1980s, Intel 486 has Pentium processor, faster single-core performance, multiprocessor included parallel computing in mainstream. So, now on 2011, advanced there are more AI-based processor and quantum computing research. So, as the CPU evolved, they become faster, more efficient, and capable of handling multiple tasks simultaneously. But there's a catch. A transistor shrink while reaching physical limits, pushing us towards a quantum and AI-driven computing. So, ayun lang ba yung nandito? So, ay hindi. Nandito pala yung yung given na bits. So, our computer has two states, or our transistor rather, or the current on our transistor has only two states. That is the false and the true. So, this is a bits. They are a combination of electrical data, which is 0 and 1s, and they have 0 to 255, or they have 256 bytes. And then, here are the bits of the 32 words. So, 02 for 4,294,967,295. Then, ayun nga, yung memory relocation. So, ito yung mga assembly language ng ating CPU, which has clear, rotate, left. Naturo na sa atin to dati, carry, subtract, set and carry, adjust accumulator.
Ready to invest in real estate?
Ayun.
But don't want the hassle? Look no further and join SmartCrowd.
And then, I already explained the fetch, the RAM. So, the architecture. So, here in our instruction, we have here the instruction in pseudocode. So, first, the 0 is loading the accumulator, then jump, hindi. Given na to na program niya. So, ito yung example. Then, an operation, subtract 5 from the accumulator. If accumulator register is 0, jump to 8. Then, jump to 9, signal 0 result. Rest of the program. So, ganun mag pseudocode. So, and then, may opcode and operand. So, yung pinagkaiba nila is yung opcode is the operational code and yung operand is yung our data. So, ayan yun. So, yung addressing natin, meron tayong registers, decoder, control unit, arithmetic logic. So, dito pala din ako nag-search. So, ayun yung decoder ng register natin. Arithmetic logic, meron add, subtract, add, or, XOR, not. Then, carry over, zero overflow, 0, and then less than. So, clock register. Ayun. Mahalagang value yung yung 740 kilohertz. So, ayun yung given na given na clock rate natin. Then, yung rates of our modern CPU can have to go 5G gigahertz. So, ayun. So, our next video is,
If you're starting the series with this video,
so now is the power of the 86. So I'm gonna explain to you that video. So now, in the 1970s, CPU design grew more robust for faster clock. Then the next major offering was Intel 8008 rather. Then one of the most prominent features is the list of instructions in indirect addressing. So in the 8008 also implements the mechanism known as interrupts. So interrupts allowed hardware signals and internal CPUs to post-program execution and jump to small high priority regions. Example of interrupt events could be real-time clock signal or trigger from a piece of internal hardware such as keyboard, change CPUs and internal state. Even program codes can interrupt the execution of the interrupt service code. So, sa interrupt natin, a good example of this one is yung ating what you call this, Control Shift Escape is Task Manager. So, sa Task Manager, meron tayong end task. So, end task na yun, sends a signal, interrupt, then end to our PC to end a program. So, ganun yung ginagawa nun. Kahit na running or not responding, pag nag-interrupt, then sabay end na program or na instructions rather, ay automatic mako-close natin. So, ayun yung example ng interrupt. So, the next major naman is yung Intel's product line. So, nasan yun? Ay, sinabi rin pala dito yung addressing ng sentence natin. So, for example, so yung 1 is yung 0. Then, yung number 2 is 30. So,
we create what's
ayan yun.
real-time clock signal, even code dedicated to fill each row with the address of each sentence.
So, ayan yung each row na is nag-given ng value. So, ito yung values na kayang i-handle. So, for example, is number 5 is 144, 4 is 101, 67, and 30, then 0. So, ayan, meron tayong personal, should I over-explain this? So, ginagawa yung ating CPU. Ayan, explain ko na yung dati which is yung sun disk or rather the glass disk is imprinted, then shine ng light, then pagkatapos under yung reflection ng electrical circuit electrical signals natin is nangyayari doon sa loob niyan. Then after niyan is nagkakaroon ng generating ng pins, nagkakaroon ng dito checking ng connections ng transistors and other such. Then ano pa bang word dito? So, ito yung mga types. So, ito yung 86.
Of the x86 architecture. The 8086 gave 10-bit CPU.
So, ayan yung
It
ating
offered 8 general
Wait.
purpose 6 16-bit registers.
So, dito nagsimula yung ating 16-bit na computer. So, meron siyang tawag dito, ah, apat na hindi, rather, pointer, apat na, wait, 16 register, 4 flag instructions.
With 4 of those registers having the ability to be used as double 8-bit registers.
Ooh, edi ibig sabihin 32-bit to. So, so yung natin dito is yung Rise of 86. So, yung 86 is a microprocessor with 16-bit. Then, yung memory handler niya is also 16-bit kasi yun yung process niya. Then, yung range of clock reach is 5 MHz, 8 MHz, and 10 MHz. So, 14 word by 16-bit register, 24 yung operand and resign mode, 8 and 16-bit sign, unsigned, arithmetic, binary, decimal, including multiply and divide. So, yung mga nauna is add. Ay, hindi. Meron na rin add yun eh. So, available in 40 30 and plastic packages. So, dito dito pinaliit yung mga naunang processor ng Intel na to. So, ito yung 16-bit segment. So, parehas na sila.
System memory.
Then, meron na tayong extra segment, stock segment, data segment, then code segment. So, yung mga segmentations ng data, mas pinapabilis na yung processing ng ating computer kasi matik, doon na pupunta yung instructions. So, next nyo is mga instructions natin. Ano pa natutunan ko dito? Ito yung mga mga example ng operations. Then, RISC, classical instructions, typically 1 per clock, CPU. Then, ayun lang yung major highlights ito. Yung major highlights sa pangalawang video is yung 86 talaga. So, sa third video is
During the 19 between Microsoft Windows and the Intel x86 architecture.
So, yung modern origin of our operating system. So, yung notes ko dito, wait lang. Basahin ko na lang yung notes ko para mabilis. So, yung notes dito is nag-introduce sila ng operating system. Ang unang tinawag dito is Multics or IBS OS or 360 MFT. So, mainly yung PC na gamit yan is from Unix. So, yung CPU is program nila, or rather, yung OS program nila para mag-handle sa CPU natin. Then, ayun, doon nagsimula yun. So, sa January, nag-improve lang like nung January 1996, nirelease si Lisa ng Apple, then Macintosh, then yun na yung product line nila na may 68K CPU handler, then medyo mataas yun. Then naging 32-bit na rin ng ating mga CPU kasi nag-a-advance sila from 16-bit naging 32-bit noong 1983. Then, by the end of 1984, IBM nagkaroon na ng Windows 1. So, ayan, Microsoft Windows 1 initial development. So, the first elimination and multiplexing of both data address buses. So, ayun na, yung nagkaroon na ng segmentation, 'di ba? So, nawala na rin yung multiplexing sa nung 1981. Nung pagka-improve nila, so wala na multiplexing, di na kailangan. And then meron na 16 MB of RAM on the 8086 to make rin yun, to make the flow much faster. So nang-introduce na rin sila ng RAM sa video na yon, which also hindi, rather 16 MB na RAM. So yung mga naunang video, medyo mababa pa yung RAM na yan. So sa next video is nag-explain ng rise of 32-bit. Wait lang. Rise of 32 bits. Let me check this on
Get
YouTube.
everything you need to grow online with the giant Hostinger sale. VPS hosting now starts at just $5.
During the mid
Dito yan, dito. Where? Ito.
During the 1980s, with an eye towards the future and the
Ito yun. Ito. Pwede to.
In 1981, Microsoft hired a former Xerox
Ito.
programmer, Charles Simonyi, to create
So, ayan. Siya yung gumawa niyan. Then, natutunan ko dyan is yung halaga ng pipelines and caches. So, ano ba nga ba yung pipeline and caches? So, pipelining is a CPU design runs the CPU on a higher clock speed due to fewer delays. So, sa pipelining stage, nagkakaroon ng instruction data usually passes sa pipeline. So, ayun, think of it as yung mga tubo natin na kung saan kung napapabilis nyo yung flow ng tubig natin, hindi na kailangan sa ganito. Then, much organized yung data na yan. Then, data inconsistency that discloses the flow of pipelining referred as data hazard. So, control hazard has been conditional branch instructions still in progress of executing within the pipeline. The incorrect branch of the new instruction loaded into a new pipeline. And then, one common technique to handle data sa pipelining is operand forwarding. So, batik diretso lang yung data, then from the sender, user, receiver, pagka-transmit ng code, or then pagka decode niya, batik punta na din sa memory register na nakalagay sa kanya. So, ganun nangyayari yung pipelining. Nagkaroon na sila ng parang pathway. Kung kanina, bus lang. Actually, meron pa rin bus na ngayon sa mga ating mga CPU. Or, dun nila ladder, pinapadaan. Yun yung way. Yung pipelining. So, mas integrated bus compared sa mga nauna. So, mas mabilis. So, next word is caching. So, caching is a small amount of high-speed static memory used to buffer the access to a larger amount of lower speed but less expensive. So, yung caching, like, for example, sa ating computer, sa word cache, nagsasave tayo ng data. Pero yung data na yan, pag niload mo sa site, mas mabilis na makukuha kasi may nakasave ka na. So, that's, for example, 32K bilang ng website yung na-download mo. Then, nakakatch yun. So, when you open that website again, mas mabilis yung loading. So, ganun ko may explain yung catching sa inyo. Pero dito, meron siyang memory region. Then, yung block na nagre-represents nun. Then, pagkatapos makuha yung ma-fetch yung master yung process, tatawagin na lang, mas mabilis kasi may nakasave ka, pre-made. So, onti na lang idadagdag ng ating CPU to make that. So, ganun na lang napabilis yung request handling ng ating computer. So, now we're done on the video. Let's talk about the overview of the GPU. I already given to you the parts. Then, the SAP1 operation. So, simple as possible operation. So, meron tayong load, add, subtract, then multiply. Wait, let me check my notes once again. Iba yung tawag dun sa load eh. Load, add, subtract, out. Ayun, out pati halt. So, nasabi na last time, load is yung kuha ng data sa memory register. Then, add is to add data. Subtract is to subtract data. Out is to display. Multiply is to multiply. Then, halt is to stop the data operation. So, if you're thinking na may meron tayong dinagdag, rather may nadagdag dati, pero ngayon tinatawag na siyang halt. Yung sa sinabi ko nakaraan, which is yung ating Ah, yung ating wait, naguluhan ako sa ano ko. Ayun. Yung ating ano, interaction sa pag-save sa may GPU, which is ayun nga lang pala ito eh. Load to accumulator, add, subtract, out, then halt. So, once again is load is load RAM data into accumulator, add is add RAM data to accumulator, subtract RAM data from accumulator, out is load accumulator data into output register, halt is stop processing. Then, next question is SAP programming. So, paano ginagawa yung SAP programming? Which is, yung SAP programming, machine code to eh. So, yung SAP programming is machine code to alam ko. Then, okay. So, yung SAP programming is a language, mostly ABAPT. So, it is a, what you call this? Pwede minutes na pala ako. Gets. So, yung SAP programming, ito pala yung ginawa namin dati. Pero alam ko ano to eh. Okay. So, ayun, yung SAP programming is made from instructions ng ating SAP, yung sinabi ko kanina operations. Then, they're mostly done on the software side. More probably from our tagagawa ng CPU to get that. So, then, ayun din yun. Instructions. So, sa program side to, gets accumulator, ayun sub. So, I think na-explain ko na yung CPU programming dati. May video ako nyan. So, ayun lang. See you on the next video.